Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith of the In the Black Quant Edge VTF at T3Live.com here this weekend to take a look at what we got here. We start off a new month, and anytime you start off a new month, it's like we just want to see where the new allocations go, and everything will trade within a series. And by that I mean that we start a new month, everything starts brand new. You got a new monthly chart, new weekly chart, new daily chart, new 60-minute chart, and so as far as the way I look at things, we basically can't identify four different separate openings until a week and an hour on next Tuesday because during this week, the monthly and the weekly bar will be all the same, and so on and so forth. And so when you look at things, when things occur matters is basically what I'm saying here, and so just as you have heard turnaround Tuesday, Tuesday's action will negate or confirm stuff on Mondays. The second week of the month confirms or negates the first week of the month, and so on and so forth. So when we start off a new month, everything's brand new, and we want to see which signals trigger because we got nothing to see if we have some things going up, some things going down, or if we get a simultaneous break, which means right out of the chute, everything breaks in the same direction. And we saw that January, right, beginning of the year. We've seen that a lot. So we take it with what we got. We got the momentum hammer, and that completes near the highs, and that's what it should do when it works, and it certainly did. It also gives us a weekly momentum hammer to start off the new month. But the way that formed was this really tight range and stuff like this. And so, you'll have people that look for really tight ranges for breakouts, but anybody who trades like that knows that if it doesn't go, they got to get out, because oftentimes when you have this real tight stuff, oftentimes you get an outside bar and they take both sides out and then come back in the middle and start all over again, because there's going to be tight stop guys on both sides. But we'll start off with the momentum hammer and see how that goes. If you get a QQQ, QQQ can see much stronger here on a bunch of those earnings here and just continue going higher. And so QQQ did this on the month, took the hammer up into this business, and just was driving higher on the weekly here. Almost nothing on the low side, on the downside. So the good thing about bars like that, albeit creeper rally, is that there's almost no time that the monthly was getting negated by the weekly. So pretty much buy signals we're just rolling. So we'll see how we go there. We got Apple. Apple got them good. Apple, Apple. If you go to the 60-minute chart, you'll see this. And oh no, it's the end of the world. Apple sucks, and pow, bam, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, and then comes down and shaves them down here like it's going to fall apart, and then rips right through it up into there. So what you have there is outside weak here, still within the series of lower highs. And so remember, there's a lot of lower high series that we've been watching, but now it's starting to get challenged. And as I get to it, certainly as far as the market's concerned, going higher or lower, when we watch these transports, all the inside months and the financials, and the inside months and the energies for sure. But anyway, as far as Apple's concerned, comes up, it's still in this lower series here and takes that out. So nothing really here because it's a gap and sit to a certain extent. Doji on Friday, so we'll see how it handles this gap. Nowhere near that up in here or down in here, so a bit of a no man's land for old Apple. If we go to small cappers, remember this is the small cappers monthly is what we were really watching for that series to be broken, and it was, which is good and bad, and I'll show you why. So remember, we were down in here, and I said, what about this lower series, this lower series of monthly highs as you come into here, hammer off the bottom of the triangle, that was a beaut. And then as we came up into here, momentum hammer just kind of fizzled a little bit. And the reason that this would do that is that when we have momentum hammers, we know that people are going to get stopped out on the short side. The question is whether the buyers step up. So in this case, you just had a bunch of shorts getting blown out, then it comes back down. Then this month is when the buyers stepped in. So we take out this higher here. So the question is this a lower series broadening formation where you just take these guys out and then drop back in, or is it going to be strong enough to get through here and go test the highs? Right now we got no new actionable signals, but if you go to the monthly or the weekly, you can see how that played out here. Right to the tick, just about. So we'll see how it can get through that. And there was a momentum weekly hammer right here that took it right up, and the hammer off the lows. Okay, so don't know, but we'll, like I said, we'll get more signals as the week and the month goes on. And another important thing about time is like when you look at something that's in the mid-month, you want to look at those monthly charts mid-month to make sure you're not trading something that's a doji on the month and it's doji on the week. When you get to about Wednesday, you just want to make sure things are on the move, and so you can get involved in things that are moving. So a lot of people get caught up in the vortex of just the daily or the intraday chart, but the longer-term stuff tells you if they're moving or not. So let's go to TLT. Speaking of moving, bonds. Bonds took the weekly hammer back up into here. And if they really want to get them going, we got a monthly momentum hammer here too. So is what it is. We'll see how it goes. SVXY, the VIX products, stays inside month, and you can see this big triangle here if it wants to get through. And there's XIV doing the same thing. So it's either these slight higher highs here and then drop back in, or off to the races. So we know what VXX has been doing, and the UVXY, the VXX split in a week from Monday, and then the UVXY after the reverse split barbecue is getting destroyed, and that's good. That's what we expect. Anyway, let's go to the diamonds. Dow Jones. So Dow Jones Diamonds closes an inside day on Friday, so we're starting off with that as an actionable signal. See, they've been drifting a little bit lower as more of the risk on has been taking a little steam out of the more defensive names that you'll see in there. But if we go to the Boeing, this Boeing went to, let's see, I wonder where it went to on the daily if you take it out a little bit. Right there. Perfect. Okay, so as for right now, though, on the weekly, Boeing just comes back for a weekly shooter here after taking all these guys out. Now we'll see if the buyers step up or the shooter kicks in. If you go to Intel inside week, and here you can see trying to take out that slight higher high there. The question is whether they can challenge that. So you can watch that with semis. You can see they're a nice inside week and down over there. But right now, inside week for Intel. You've got Johnny John inside week near the highs, and that thing's been cranking here, as you can see. So we'll see how they open up the new week with Johnny John. You got McDonald's, and last week that was quite the triangle here. Goes up there and gets destroyed. And now McDonald's is going to start off the month as a momentum shooter to the downside. So potential problem here. But if you look at that daily again, you'll see this. Here. Triangle needed to grow. Bam, 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 bam. And now we'll see if it's weak enough to take that out with the monthly momentum shooter. Verizon here in the defense. Not doing too much. Goes doji on the month here. But if you follow along that with telephone, AT&T would be momentum hammer here right on the high. So we'll see if they want to come back into that defensive posture. If we go to Travelers. Travelers going inside week, and we can watch that with all the insurance names and all this FAS, XLF stuff that's inside month coming up here. I'll get to that in a second. But Traveler starts off as an inside week in the Dow. You got UNH inside week right on the highs momentum hammer. So we'll see how that goes with all its brethren and sisterhood. Go to Coke. Coke a little bit weaker here, and you can see just takes that slight lower low there for your triangle. If you go to the daily, you're going to see this. Like so, and wasn't strong enough to take this triangle here. All right, so it's a tighter one, but you can see that, and it comes down into here. But if you go to the other ones here in the XL piece kind of stuff, you had Pepsi coming up to go RevStrat week here with the hammer countering the inside week, and Dr. Pepper. Momentum hammer on the highs. Let's see if we can finally get to par here. So, and Smucker's Jam, just a little RevStratter because it's an inside weak countered with hammer outside. So hopefully that's a triangle expansion. If they go back in the defense and the peanut butter jelly time, we go to trannies. Trannies, come on, man. Trannies is really would really be key to try and break this series. So here you did get the higher low out of this. All right, but you still need some of this business in here. If you go to the weekly, you're going to see this. Here it comes down and drops back in. This is just Friday. It's not an inside week on this one. So inside week and down slightly, but a 2-week inside pattern. You can see that here, 1, 2, 3 higher highs here and here. So it's smaller formation in here, but we really want to see if you can take out this lower series here and start gunning into there or higher. And it's been a push me, pull you. It's like the oil coming in. You'd think it would be good for the airlines, and it hasn't been. And then when the oil rallied, you think it would be good for the railroads, and to a certain extent it was. But let's go see what we got. Potential here. You got Delta goes inside month. See that? here. And so you got those weeklies right sitting real close there, but you got this inside month here to get out of. And you've got Spirit Airlines here going inside week. So see how that goes. You've got Southwest Air, and they just had all them computer glitches, and that pounded them, is an inside month, but right near the lows of this here. So right out the chute, only has to tick down just a little bit to take that month. And then, of course, would have to stay down there, and that's what I talk about reconfirmation on the weekly, on the daily, on the 60 once it gets there. If we go to Under Armour, it's Under Armour, United Airlines. Yeah. Okay, United Airlines starting off with an inside week here. So you can see what we get out of this stuff here. Right, like this. Higher high, lower low, lower low, bam. Those hammers were real nice. But now you got this inside week to start off the month. We'll see how that goes. If we go to the choo-choos, CSX, 2-week inside pattern here, and starting off as an inside day. Here, inside day to see if they can hold that support. Outside bar, so we want to get outside of that and use that inside stuff to get out of there. If we go to KSU inside week here. If we go to Norfolk Southern just starting off as an inside day here. And so you can see the old triangle coming here, support, slide higher high, lower lows here. Watching this inside day there, Norfolk Southern to start off the month. You got a FedEx going inside month here. All right, let's see if it's time for join the UPS there, because UPS goes monthly shooter. So potential problem if FedEx goes to the downside and UPS takes the shooter down. If we go to Rider Systems, you got yourself an inside month. Trying to fight its way back out of this. So the question is, what is this 4 months here? Corrective activity of this and repuke or hold and measured move. Go to the Utes. Got a slight momentum hammer here in the Utes, and if you take a look at the weekly, you'll see this here. Stuck up in here, all right? All this stuff jammed up in here, but last week they tried to take him down, didn't do it, and popped back up, so you can see all this support in here, and the Utes still trying to hold on up there. If you got an EXC, there's your weekly momentum hammer, and this is one of the ones we've been watching for a while, because this monthly triangle here, it's good to go way back on them charts and be like, used to be somebody up in here. And so I've been watching this ever since this hammer here, and very nice, and still trying to complete that. So now you got a weekly momentum hammer there. If you go to the REITs, VNQ, we know the REIT's been powering here too. And so here, REIT's going. Weekly momentum hammer up in here too. So the question is, we're going to come out gangbusters in August. They're going to start buying everything again. Outside week momentum hammer for VNQ. If you go to XME got the job done. Inside month and up and onto the highs, and that's we're watching this 3 bars here. What was this consolidation? Kind of like gold, and it goes inside month and kapow after the opening of the month. You remember opening of the year? Remember the January, everybody getting the smackdown. I'm like, not these guys, hammering up, and it was off to the races. And so we'll see how these commodities play out. Because remember, a lot of these charts, when you go way back on the monthly, a lot of these commodities used to be a lot higher. And so that's when you say, oh, it's overbought, I'm like, really? Are you sure about that? Just even test this downtrend on the monthly would be pretty big. So, but that exhausts. So we'll see how that goes. We've got a gold. The gold's still trying to, remember, if this dumper here, it's still trying to take all these guys out. And so in triangle form, it would, to take them all out and take out these highs, would be 137.55. Still working on that. If we tighten it up a little bit, you'll see this here. And so once again, that consolidation, that 3-month consolidation, then a little just kind of scratcher here, not doing much for the month, but didn't die either. And so on the weekly, we got this, still trying to walk up this business here in an outside weak fractal triangle. And so on a fractal triangle, that means if you go to a smaller one, you're going to see this, these slight lower lows and these slight higher highs to start off the week. If we go to GDX, outside week to the upside here, and that's giving you your Nuggy and your J Nug blasters, and still hanging in there. Breaking it down, obviously we've talked about a lot of them, but if you go to GG, underperforming there, it goes weekly shooter here, momentum shooter comes up slight higher high and comes in, and on the monthly. Came in a bit, and so really you want to watch this 1, 2, 3, 4 months in here. So, and how does it get out of here? And certainly going to watch the underlier. It starts off as an inside day here. If we go to FNV, on the other hand, here, this is going momentum hammer monthly here. If we can take that out. If we go RGLD just got a little bit more room on that monthly triangle up in here to keep a ripper. And so, like a lot of these things, when you have that underlier going, broadening formation here, you can see this on the daily. You can even come up into there and here. But no new actionable signals in that. If we go to Rio Tinto here on the weekly, going inside week for the Rio Tinto, and going back in time, if the commods are for reals, playa, used to be somebody. And that's what we want to know. All right, if we got a TCK, copper, also, it's like a nice run. Look at this huge run off the lows. But, and I'm just saying we keep an eye on stuff like this for when they start to come back in these major levels. Look at the last time, bam. And so right now you're just taking this stuff out or challenging that, and then you'd have some stuff up there, but no new actionable signals there. But I'd always like to go back in time on these things like Vale too, and pokes up a little bit, but still within the this 4 month range. Here, trying 1, 2, 3, 4, get out of this stuff and start playing again. And so you can see here the slight higher highs off of this, the monthly here. But we need some actionable signals in this stuff, so we'll keep an eye on that as time goes by. Because FCX here went RevStrat month, but still 4 month situation going on here. When we get out of there now, it's an outside week for it. So either side of that we want to know about, because it's fractal triangle on the outside week, and here's your triangle here: lower low, higher high, lower lows, higher highs. How do we get out of this thing? If we go to this is so beautiful, we just got to look at it one more time. Letter X, the monthly combo here: inside month up, consolidate and take off. Weekly momentum hammer inside combination, which is gorgeous. So just a little look at that. All right, let's get to the financials. We know that they're hinting at a rate hike eventually someday, maybe. But inside month for FAS, inside month for XLF, inside month for KRE, and KRE starts off as a weekly RevStrat to the downside potential here. Inside bar countered with shooter, so we'll be aware of that. Like I said, a lot of interest rate chatter would have to get these things going, but this is a key group going forward for sure, because you got your Bank of America inside month again, Bank of America inside month, Citicorp, JP Morgan, all that kind of stuff, Wells Fargo. So we got to see how these things start to break out. BK, you've got BMO Harris here going inside month, and that would be slight, I believe, RevStrat weekly to the upside here. So here, Doji back into the range of the inside bar. So we'll see how that goes. Just looking for any evidence. We got BBT would be RevStrat to the downside. So obviously, when you have inside months, that's why you're going to see RevStrats going opposite ways, because an inside month means it's consolidating, and whenever you're trading anything that's still inside on a longer term time frame, yeah, you can expect to get RevStratted. Okay, PNC Bank would be RevStrat to the downside inside month. However, here still got to get out of the inside month. So Goldman Sachs still in this multi-month situation here. How do we get out of here? And still somewhat in the middle of it. You did have the weekly here take out these guys. The question is going to be strong enough to get up back to their 170. Right now you got a shooter back down, so not too much to keep an eye on just yet there. If we go to Discover Financial, DFS, you got inside week there. Oops. Combo with the month, Capital One inside month, and here on the weekly inside week, inside month combo looks like inside day too. So, like they said, we got to see how these all kick in. If you go to VSER, VSER goes inside month. Still need to get out of that. You see, in general, holding this major trend here. You got a couple aberrations here, but outside of that, slow and steady Eddie, and now an inside month. Also, insurers, Met, Peru. So, ton of inside months that got a break and resolve there. If we go to crude oil, UWTI, and must say the market going on the highs when we used to follow oil, and oil doing this. So the question is, can oil rally back out of this? And if we go to the USO here, the weekly. So what do we do here? We took these guys out, and we're going to try and go back up, or is this just taking all this stuff out and rolling back into oblivion? No new actionable signal here, but here's your series like this. Like that. So you got that slight lower low, that's good, but no new actionable signal. But what you do have is a whole boatload in the energies. You got XLE trying to go rev strat weak to the upside, but inside month, OIH, inside month, XOP, inside outside, or not quite outside. It was tried to rev strat there, it didn't do it. So, but 3 doji months. How do you get out of here? That's something we really want to know about, because once again, those lower series like that. If we go to the FAS again, you can see that lower monthly series now challenging this stuff, and now for the XOP and XLE stuff, can we finally make any significant higher highs off of this? And certainly Underlier will have something to say about that. If we go to Chever, just a slight down month, but it came down with here. Comes down like this and goes outside day to the upside. So that's all we got to start off the week, because Exxon got the old triangle business here off the earnings. But comes roaring back, and if you go to the weekly here, good chance you go inside week to start it off. So here was an old triangle, but you can see how they got them all out here, right there. Bam, took them all out and pops back up. Good chance Exxon goes inside week to start the week. We've got APA. Monthly would be slight rev strat to the upside, but you can see because it took out the inside month and popped back in. But you can see this 3 months. How do we get out of here? That's what we're going to find out. So if you go to Concho CXO, you can see a little bit stronger here, and Concho coming out on the weekly would be momentum hammer to try and challenge this stuff up in here. If we go to Devon Energy, see Devon coming up here and still walking up this choppy business here, but in general, still trying to come up. And once again, that monthly, can we make anything significant here? So you do have to start off the week. You do a slight momentum hammer here for Devon. If we go to FANG, FANG, you got a weekly hammer, inside month combo. Here, try and get out of here. And once again, those 3 months. Amarada Hess. Amarada Hess had a rough month here too, but you can see this 1, 2, 3 months completely within this bar's range. That needs to change, and you're starting off with a weekly hammer after hopefully stopping them all out down in here, like so. If we go to Noble Energy, and Noble Energy, more doji land, the land of the dojis and inside. So we'll see how that goes. All right, we go Oxy, inside, outside, inside, and weekly hammer to try and get out of here. See if this is the higher lower, comes down and test that. And that's why I want to look on those, something like this in the daily. I'm like, look, you're going to get killed when you look at a monthly that's doing 3 dojis. It's just going to go, look at this, channelingstocks.com, doing nothing. So we got to wait for these things and to see if oil completely rolls over, or how these things will act if oil just starts to firm up again. If we go to PXD, outside week, and you've got inside month for PXD, just still took these highs out. The question will be strong enough to take out this lower series here. Inside month PXD, XEC, another doji inside month, starting off as hammer on the daily, on the weekly. If you go to see the OIH stuff, OIH once again inside month, and Slob was acting all right and starting off as a weekly hammer here again. So there's a lot of weekly hammers in you. have those ranges that resolve on the highs in the S&P. So we'll see if we can get through all this business on that hammer to start off the month. It's an outside day to the upside, like a lot of those energies did on Friday. If you go to Halliburton, Halliburton stays inside month. So with the OIH, watch the Halliburton OIH break. Helmerich Payne just starting off here. No new actionable signals. Just keeping an eye on this triangle in here and see how it acts in there if the OIH starts to heat up a bit. If we go to, let's see, NOV. NOV starting off as an inside day. Big outside day, big inside day. And once again, still watching this monthly business down in here. How does it get out of here? It took that one shot here and then came back in. So is it weak enough to take it out down here? But you're right in the middle of this range. And but starting off as an inside day, and you also got weekly hammer like this here. They wanted to stop out all these guys and bring it back up. So we'll, like I said, watching the underlier, watching the OIH for that stuff. If we go to Natty, UNG. UNG here, you can see this. Slight low hammer, and then back in here, need to get out of this stuff. And so SWN coming back up inside weak to start off. EGN, weekly hammer, inside month. Voila. If we go to the refiners, Valero hammers off the bottom here. See if we can get out of there, and starts as an inside day here. So you got still putting in the lower highs here. You took all this stuff out, but now you're starting off as an inside day. And remember, I was talking about those tight triangle business on the weeklies here that needed to grow here. So it went up, tried to rev strat here, comes back up because you have WNR doing nothing, stayed inside month. All right, and you had PSX give them the business on the daily and go all the way down to take these guys out, but not that out. And then Tesoro here still put in that higher low there, but would go weekly shooter if they want to take it back down, if this is all it's got. So you can see this lower series here. The question is going to be weak enough to take that out. And so you can see here the most recent weekly triangle, those lower lows, and then these here. So you can keep an eye on that weekly to try and get out of this stuff and use some of that inside month stuff to see if we can get out of there. If we go to IBB comes up and takes this stuff out. So once again, you got that lower low stuff in here, and then that series here we wanted to take out, and last week we did it here on the weekly. So you can take this, and it's not by much, 7 cents or so, but you got this, and you can see it on the daily here a lot more clearly. You can see the daily momentum hammers to start off the new month. But here you go, bam, 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 lower low, got them all but good. Everybody out? Yep. Okay, up we go. And so the thing about it is, if you look at, when people say they look at the SPY or they just look at the ES, whenever you're looking at something broader. Because of there's so many tradable vehicles, you want to look around. And I got to admit, I missed it, and sometimes I miss stuff like this. But if you go to LABD. Here, what you had on the monthly was this momentum shooter, and so that helped propel. So if you go to Labu here, you wouldn't have seen it on that, but if you go to the other one, you would. And so that's why you want to look at all these derivative products whenever you're looking at something broader. But anyway, if we go through here, GILD, the whipping boy, ew, momentum shooter going back to the lows here and having some problems. So if we go to the weekly, obviously puke, or this lower level triangle here, takes out all these guys and then pukes hard on the earnings. And if you look at the daily here, you're going to see this higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high, and now puke. So we'll see if it can put in a higher low, or if it's going to go and take everybody out again down into here. Right now, gap kicking pattern here, down into that, and then the inside day delayed move. So if it goes measured move, go challenge that stuff. But we'll see. We got Regeneron. So they said Regeneron. We'll go over to Regeneron then. So inside day to the upside, nice. But like on a lot of these things, nowhere near the highs, and basically we stopped them all out here. Now you got these guys to go after. You just don't have any actionable signal to do it. But we'll watch going forward, because remember in the IBB, this lower series of monthly highs, can we come up and challenge this stuff is really what we want to know. Or is it just hoop and then redump again? But we'll keep watching. Right now it's the momentum daily hammers to start out anyway. You got Celgene a little bit better, obviously, and you got that daily here. Boom, 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 boom. Take them all out. So up into there, and that's going to look like this on the weekly here. This was higher than these two. That's good. It means the triangle series begins in here. Lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high. You just don't have any actionable signals here. So if we go to Amgen on the monthly came gangbusters and just here took all these guys out and now can challenge the highs. And so although sometimes it looks real easy on certain charts, there were some harrowing moments in there. If you look at the daily here, this outside day here was a little rough. But outside of that, you can see a higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high. Triangle becomes support, and then off to the races, momentum hammer. Outside bar, and now just sitting on the highs. Like I said, for a lot of this stuff, we need to see confirming or negating actionable signals as the day, week, and month go on. If you go to BIIB, they triangled them good in here too. If you go to a lot of this stuff, the weekly. Bam, 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 and then right back up and trying to take this stuff out. And right now, BIIB, I believe, is inside weak, so you got that. But if you look at the daily, it's because of the gap and sit. So I want to get out of this stuff and it holds the gap so far and see if we can get measured move out of that. Inside weak, BIIB, ACAD, ACAD. ACAD goes inside month. So we'll see how it gets that big range on the month and then a tight range. So inside month to start off in ACAD, you've got BMRN here, starting off trying to get out of that monthly stuff like that. Just starting off with the rest of them here, momentum daily hammers. Outside, we'll see how that goes. If we go to ALNY, a bunch of those daily momentum hammers, and inside month here, trying to get out of this multi-month range. And you got an inside month momentum hammer daily and outside week momentum hammer weekly to see if it can be strong as the IBB and take all these highs out. And using that signal there, we'll see how that goes. If we go to CHRS here, inside week, and that was another nice one because it was monthly hammer, like so. And that was early combination here, if you recall that. The inside week triggers the inside month takeout. Now inside week to see if that confirms or negates the new move. GWPH. Tight range in there, inside weeks for you. And still just trying to walk up ever since the gap here. You can see that. Now you got the inside week to start out for GWPH as it really starts to tighten up. ILMN. And the ILMN we know came ripping last week. That was nice. Here. Takes all that stuff here. Outside day. And then boom. Now it's going inside day momentum hammer to start off the new month. And on the weekly you'll see this. Still putting in this lower series. But if we can do what the IBB did and take out some of these highs, that's still significantly higher from here. Starting off as an inside day. If we go to Jazz Farm. And Jazz Farm, outside week, so fractal triangle, inside month, here. So the question here is they take out the higher highs and then roll back down, inside, outside, inside month, or does it go up, sideways, measured move and start taking some of that stuff out? We shall see what we shall see. MNK. Is it time? And MNK, you can see this has been going sideways for a very, very long time. But now starting off as an inside week. Here, see if you can start breaking through some of that stuff or dropping back in. Perigo, having some issues here. But here, inside month, down in here. So the question is, the shooter and just keep falling apart because you can see how it's handily underperforming everything else. Or does it try and take this out and be a real boy again? So inside month for Perigo. SGN. You can see much stronger there. So just some good outperformance over there. No new actionable signals, however. UTHR and UTHR doing this on the weekly. Here, got them here. One, boom, inside week up, boom, shooter, bam, outside week back to the upside. Now here, it needs to get out of this triangle here. We'll look for additional actionable signals. And VRX, everybody's buddy, pick. Inside month if there's any hope. If we go to XRT retail, in the retail, you've got that XRT took that doji hammer to the upside, but as you can see, still hasn't taken out any of these significant lower highs here in the monthly, so something to shoot for. If we take a look at the Walmart did the creeper, but then goes monthly shooter if they want to drop it back in. It's been a real tough trader, though. It's just it's just real tight and not doing much, so you want to be careful when you see that. You got Costco Here, once again, this real tight business in here after it came out gangbusters for the month toward the new highs and doji week, and you just want to be careful until it gets outside of that, and then it's got to stay out because this tight business, like I said, oftentimes there's stops on both sides, and they take them both out, and you get an outside week and then an inside week. So just want to be careful of that. If you go to Target, Target got the job done last month, doing the inside month and up dance. But these two are still in this bar here. You came up on the daily and you filled the gap here eventually. You just had to wait for it to go inside week, then inside month. So it's doing the Waka Waka Creeper rally here, but nothing new on that. If it does start to drop in, though, you are weekly shooter here. If we go to burritos, the burritos going inside month here if there's any hope, and it just keeps walking down here. But now you got an inside month. Is it really doomsday for this thing, or is it going to be coming back up? So we'll keep an eye on that. Also starts off as an inside day. Fergie, FRGI, inside month Momo shooter, and so the Fiesta restaurant, no Fiesta as yet. We'll see how that goes. We go to Gas, GES, and you got an inside month here. Inside week combination to start off. You can see how much weaker that has been than the overall market. If we go to Hain Celestial, Hain's still trying to walk up that monthly. Remember, it used to be somebody and then came down, went inside month, and that was all she wrote for that. Starting off choppy business here, but you're starting off as an inside day momentum hammer. Go to Macy's. Macy's starting off as 2 daily hammers if it wants to take that out. However, it would be Rev strat to the downside weekly, inside week covered with shooter. And monthly still trying to walk back on this with nowhere near the significant new highs on the higher highs on the monthly. If we go to Phillips of Van Heusen, Phillips Van Heusen inside month and trying to fight back to see if this was the aberration. You got that hammer there, and then hammer, then doji, and see if the buyers step up here because you can see this Rev strat here last month or 2 months ago, and then here. The buyers step back in. Now we got to take that equilibrium and see this lower series here would still be up around in there, and an inside month to try and do it. Phillips Van Heusen. If we go to RH, speaking about coming out of the ashes, inside month for the RH. So if there's any hope here, there it is. If we go to RL still everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months completely in this month's range. So if we go to the first thing here, you can see this. See if you can get this as a continuation triangle out of this because you're inside day after stopping them all out. When I say stopping them all out too, it's like you're long in here. You know there's going to be stops here, and they take them out, and then the more hardier guys are like, okay, we'll hammer low, and then bam. And so that's how you can take a bunch of these people out. So here you go, inside day RL. If we go to Raw stores, Raw stores just had a beautiful inside mountain up right here, bam, and that's why we want to pay attention to that. But you're coming into this stuff. You can see this here with no new actionable signals, so you want to be careful now in the Raw stores. If we go to the weekly, you'll see this a little more clearly, like so. All right. If we go to Signet, after all the hubbub about inside month. So if there's any hope for this thing or falling apart more, you got your inside month there. SIG. You got Tiffany's inside month here. Let me shrink that. You can see it. Inside month for the Tiffer. You've got Tractor Supply here. Just starting off as an inside weak hammer here. So you got these lower lows. Now we'll see how this inside weak hammer handles the Tractor Supply and Whole Foods. Hey, Whole Foods once again inside month and still can't get out of this range, and it already took a shot at the upside here. So I'm gonna be real careful with old Whole Foods on the inside monther. Go to TAC, XLK. XLK gets the job done off the monthly Momo hammer and on the highs here, just doing the waka waka waka. Semiconductors backed off for the last few days, but for the most part, one heck of a momentum hammer monthly. But now you're just going into wide open spaces, and once you get up into any new highs, you're at risk, exhaustion risk, because you just don't know what's up there. And so with that semiconductors, if you look at Xilinx and you look at these combinations that you had in Xilinx, you see this monthly hammer here, and then last week was weekly momentum hammer, and then even if you miss that, it went daily momentum hammer, the triple. So that's why we look for the combinations. You go to Facebook. Facebook starting off as an inside day, and just anytime you're going into higher highs, you can see it's right in that neighborhood where it slows down like that, right? So it would have to accelerate out of this thing, or if it's just going to do its waka waka, it can drop back in and still be fine on a macro basis. And but it goes inside day. It's going to go inside. It starts off as an inside day and would have a pretty big range to not be inside week. So you'd want to be aware of that. If we go to Netflix goes inside week and pig on the monthly here. How do you get out of this stuff, right here? Well, it's starting off as an inside week, and here the problem here is that look, you were up here, you were down there, and then you gap right back dead in the middle, doing nothing. So we'll see what that week can produce and start to maybe get something going, but a little tough in there in the Netflix. If you go to the Goog, however, the Goog got them good, and like a good Goog should. Oh, they were bad mouthing her so much, and came down here, pops back up, counters that inside month. Like I said, when they got to get out of this bars range, and they did. And now to see if they can go to the new highs. However, no new actual signals, and on the weekly, you got this. You got it right like here. It did it. Lower low, the higher high, the lower low, and then the higher high. So triangle business in there. So we could use some more actionable signals. Goog. If we go to Amazon's. Amazon closed up there, momentum hammer monthly, like a lot of things here, and now anybody's guess because you just pop your head up into some higher highs and see you can be like this. Don't know. If we go to Adobe starting off as an inside month. Voila. Baba took the monthly hammer last month, and now going to start off the new month as an inside week. So here's that triangle business here to see if you can start taking this series of lower highs out and use this as the measured move, or drop back into this business in here. But inside week for Baba to start off. Baidu here, you see that outside week momentum shooter if it wants to take it out. And the problem with that is it would be a combination of the inside month. Here, inside month, still completely within all this range in the middle of this stuff, but going to respect anytime there's multiple signals in force. CRM trapped on the top of the triangle with inside month. Want to see how you can get out of that. You got NXPI. Here is an inside month, inside day, weekly shooter potential if they want to take it down. You got Palo Alto. Here is weekly shooter potential, but an inside month. That needs to change there. Priceline goes inside month and coming firing out of the gate. Rev Strat week to the upside. So that would be nice. You get the Rev Strata to take out the monthly and get out of this. And so you can see this big weekly triangle in here. Like I said, you got this strong move. This is the direction it came from. Stop them out, stop them all out. And then now you're free to go. So you can use that Rev Strat to break out of this stuff and take out the inside month. You could take this gapper out. A whole bunch of good stuff could happen to the old price line. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Corvo on the daily and the semis just going Rev Strat day off the top of the triangle support here. See how we start off the week. Red Hat took the inside day up there, but it's going to start off as inside month. Here. SWKS. Here, just starting off as an inside week. So here needs to get out of that or that. So we're using that, trying to use that inside week to do that. And Yahoo starting off as an inside week. All right. Just a few more here. If we go to some of these big industrial stuff, you got Eaton Corp, ETN, would be Rev Strat week to the downside. We've got FMC here, going inside month, like so, to see once again these severe series of lower highs. Took all this stuff out, which is good, and then went outside month, inside month. Now you got to get outside of that fractal triangle on the inside month. If you go to LYB, inside month there, and actually not participating so far in this market's rally. So we'll see if that catches a bid or falls down. Parker Hannifin inside month. You got PPG as an inside month. You got Sherwin-Williams starting off as an inside week. Here you've got FSL YAR, peg, and trying to drop back in, but FSLR goes inside month. How do we get out of this stuff? Okay, because if you go to SPWR SunPower, you got an inside month there as well, and SEDG inside month. MDSO starting off as the inside week here, like so. Inside week, inside day combo. So we'll see how that starts off, especially after an inside outside. Inside. So when I say inside outside, inside you have the inside day or bar, whatever have you, and then the outside. So it's just a contraction of volatility, expansion and a contraction. So the hopes is that continues, and you get the expansion to take the big outside bar out. All right, we go to OA, and OA starting off as a rough strat day, but also inside week, inside month. And with the Olympics coming up, EWZ, once again, when you look at the big picture, Brazil used to be somebody, and now they got the Olympics, so we'll see if they stop them all these guys out here. Look at this. Ready? Teehee. Something like that. Now we'll see how that comes back, because you got PBR Petrobras. Yeah, right. I know. And looking like a bunch of those commodities trying to come back, so it's kind of interesting there. If we go to Sodi Pop, Soda, remember Soda used to be somebody too, and on the weekly, gets out of this and trying to come up through there, and you got an inside week. See if I can complete that, like so. If we go to Toll Brothers and the Home Builders, that would be RevStrat to the downside weekly, inside month. TWLO starting off as RevStrat week. Here, inside week counter of a shooter if she's ready to cool off. You got Wynn Resorts. In the middle of that triangle, it goes inside month again. Here, so how does this 1, 2, 3, 4 month consolidation to try and get out of that? Once again, inside, outside, inside month. UHS here. Like about the UHS looks interesting here on the daily, because you got this slight higher high stuff in here. You're trying to come off of this business here, and you got a RevStrat day to do it. If we go to VGK Europe, Vanguard Europe inside month there for Europa. All right, and see how that goes, Brexit boys. And finally, Tesla goes inside month finally, and to see if we can finally get out of this massive range. And going down to the weekly, you're going to see this. All right, we've been chopping around in here. How do we take that out or that out? First, you take these guys out, you take these guys out. But now you're inside month, and if you go to the daily, you're going to see a triangle like this. If that inside month can propel it to try and challenge this up in here, this 240 and change up in here, and try and get through that. Because if you're up there, you're inside month and up, which is good. So you have that signal in force. All right, that's gonna do it for this week, and I'll be in all week, and then next week I'm taking off for the Great North Woods, the annual trip with no phone, no internet for a week. So I will make a short video on Friday for you, and then following after that, no weekend video, because I ain't going to be here. All right, hope everybody had a great weekend, has a great week. I'm Rob Smith of the In the Black Quant Edge VTF at T3 Live. See you later.